Hello everyone, I'm Rahul, and in this video, I'll be discussing the article role of ethical culture and moral identity. As in the context of our course on the ethical leadership and critical decision making, this article explore how we basically how the ethical culture and moral identity influence the workflow behavior, particularly in reducing the unethical actions which basically happen in the work culture, and due to which the some unwanted things happen and that unethical actions happen. So I'll be address whether this article is well done or and useful. However, it help us understand ethics and leaderships and its main idea, hypothesis, conclusion, and its relevance to our class discussion or not. So covering to this article, that the first question which come up the most is that is this article is well done, interested, and useful. So according to me, yeah, this article is well done, combining the theoretical insights with the practical application. It uses the corporate ethical virtues models to provide a structure basically approach to understand how ethical culture impacts the workplace behavior. I found it particularly that interesting, and that the author analyzed the interplay between an ethical culture and collective more identity, shedding lights on the group behavior. For example, the article shows that the ethical culture, things like clarity, transparency, and moreover, everything has a strong impact on reduce the unethical behavior than collective moral identity. This insight is both useful and practical, especially for the organization aiming to improve the workplace ethics and through policy and culture building initiatives. So the second question was that does this topic or the article helps us understand ethical and leadership more effectively? Absolutely. What I think that absolutely this article depends on who understand how a leadership directly shapes the ethical culture. It highlights that the leaders must go beyond the individual moral values and focus on the environment, whether the ethical behavior in the norms. This aligns closely with what we discussed in the week 11, where we explained and where we explained and where the leadership style and their impact on the organization ethics. By emphasizing the role of the clear explanations and open communication, the article reinforms also the idea that ethical leadership isn't just about the personal integrity. It's about creating a system and structure that basically support ethical decision making at every level. So what are the basically the main ideas in this article? So coming to the main idea, the what two top main ideas which I have seen in this article is the first is the role of ethical culture. As ethical culture characterized by the attributes like clarity, transparency, and supportability is the most significant factors in reducing the unethical behavior. And second is collective moral identity, that while moral identity which groups contributes to the ethical behavior, its impact is weaker than of the robust ethical culture. The author argues that the organization should prioritize building a strong ethical culture rather than solely relying on individual moral values. And they used a CEV model to illustrate how aspects like this that argues between the action and the values can enhance the ethical behavior. And the fourth is basically about what are the hypothesis and the conclusion. And coming to the main hypothesis of this article is a strong ethical culture significance that reduce the observed unethical behavior in the workplace. The second is the collective moral identity has a less pronounced but still positive impact on ethical behavior. The conclusion basically what we can say is that the conclusion strongly support this hypothesis. The author finds that ethical culture is the primary driver of reducing the unethical actions, while moral identity plays a secondary role. So in the next question, which was one of the most important, that's the intelligent comments about the article in the context of our classes. So this article aligns closely with many of the concepts we have covered in the class. For instance, in week 5 we discussed the importance of transparency and accountability in data management, and the article reinforced this article by showing that how clarity and openness is organization policies directly reduce the unethical behavior. Additionally, the emphasis on discussing in the CEV model relates to our debates on whistleblowing in week 9, 10, 11. If the employees feel safe discussing ethical concern, they are morally likely to uphold the organization values, and this connection between theory and practice makes them the article especially related to our courses. So the bonus, the statistical analysis, what's that? So the article is aesthetically sounds good, and the author used large diverse sample of Brazilian organizations, which strengthen the generalizability of these their findings. These analysis of the CEV model was through with clear explanation of how each element contributes to the overall finding. However, it's worth nothing that culture made limit how applicable these findings are in other contexts like North America or Europe. So, in conclusion, I want to sum up with this article is well researched and practical resources for understanding how ethical culture and leadership interests. It highlights the importance of clear guidance, transparency, and open communication in forecasting the workplace ethics. By typing these ideas to our class discussions, such as the CEB model and debates on the leadership and whistleblowing, the article offers valuable insights that we can apply both academic and professionally. So I feel like this is what I want to cover for this topic, and thank you for watching. I look forward to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Hi there, my name is Rohit and my student ID number is 100920688. So today I'll speak about the ideas and conclusion from the article role of ethical culture and moral identity. So I am choosing myself as a so I'll present as a perspective as a executive in a company. So today I'll be discussing how as a executive I could implement the ideas and conclusion from the articles which I mentioned. The role of ethical culture and the morality and ethical leadership is about, which is about more than just strategy. It's about shaping the values of the that drives that drives the uh, values behavior that drives an organization. These articles highlights the criteria role ethical culture plays in reducing unethical behavior in and how leaders can foster that culture. So the idea is in this article, which incredibly relevant to the real world ship, which provides insights how to clear guidelines and transparency. See it how the clear terms and accountability can create a strong ethical foundation. These are not just theoretical concepts; they are also actionable and steps that leaders can implement and their organization uh, let, their organization can implement. So talking about the uh, implementing the ideas as a so uh, talking about the as implementation of the ideas as a leader, the first step would focus on the establishing clear guidance on ethical behavior. The article emphasizes the corporate ethical virtues, which is CV model, particularly the importance of the clarity. This resonates with what we discussed in our week 11, where the latest is like Steve Jobs uh, transform organization by embedding clear and actionable values in their operation. For instance, I would ensure that the company's codes of ethics is not just a document but something employee engage with their through regular training and discussion. So now talking about the transparency, transparency is the key. Uh, the articles explain how discussability and openness reduce unethical behaviors. So as in our week 11, we learned that transparency build trust both within the teams and with external stakeholder. As a leader, I would established systems so for open communications such as anonymous reporting tools and question answers sessions where employees can raise their voice with ethical concerns without fear of reprisal. I would also reward the ethical behavior. Another point highlighted in the article. So recognizing and incentivizing employees who demonstrate integrity sends a strong message to the ethical matter. For example, leaders at a companies like Patagonia use sustainability incentives to promote ethical practices, showing that doing the right thing is valued and celebrated. Finally, I would ensure that uh, an ethical culture is promoted constantly across all levels of the organization, as the article noted. Leadership noted to the model for the behavior that expected from the others. In week 11, we explore how leadership style influence other organizational ethics by demonstrating accountability and fairness in our own actions. I would set the standards for the rest of the organization. So moving to the next one is the practical insights. So the article is not overly theoretical. It offers practical steps that align with the real world leadership challenges. For example, fostering clarity and transparency is both feasible and cost effects. These strategies don't require expensive system. They just need commitment and follow through the from leadership. However, the article does have limitation. It focuses on the pressure organization. Might raise a question about uh, culture applicability. What works in one culture context might need adaptation in another. That said, the underlying principles of the C model, clarity, discoverability, and accountability, are universal and can be tailored to different organizations. An example from the article that stand out is how ethically can observe unethical behavior. This insight is actionable. For instance, leaders could implement it by integrate ethics checkpoints into performance reviews or project evaluations. This helps ensures that ethical practices are constantly reinforced. So moving to the conclusion, I mean some points of conclusion. In conclusion, these articles are valuable resources for leaders to foster an ethical culture. Its focus on clarity, transparency, and accountability provides actionable steps that can implement in an organization. While some aspects may be required to cultural adjustments, and the overall framing is highly practical. As leaders, our responsibility to go beyond personal ethics and create an environment where ethical behavior is known by applying these insights and create an environment where ethical behavior is the norm. By applying these insights from these articles, we can build organizations that we are not only successful but also grounded in trust and the integrity. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Shvendra Kumar, and today I'll be discussing how, as a manager or supervisor, I would implement the ideas and conclusion from the article. Role of ethical culture and moral identity. Managers hold a unique position within an organization. We are responsible for operational leadership vision while directing influencing the day to day behavior of our teams. This article highlights practical strategies for fostering an ethical culture at the managerial level, such as creating clarity, transparency, and accountability. These ideas are highly relevant to real world management and provide actionable steps that don't always rely on top level leadership for success. Implementing the ideas. As a manager, one of my primary responsibilities would be to ensure clarity in ethical guidelines. The article emphasizes that clear expectation reduce unethical behavior. In this role, I would work to communicate these expectations to my team in practical terms. For instance, during team meetings, I discuss organization code of ethics and relate it to specific scenarios that employees might face. This aligns with what we convert in week 1, where clarity in ethical frameworks was highlighted as essential for decision making. Another step I would take it to foster transparency and open communication. The article emphasizes discussability as a critical component of ethical culture. Managers can create an environment where employees feel comfortable bringing up ethical concerns by encouraging open dialogue. For example, setting aside time during weekly meetings for employees to raise questions or concerns about ethical practices can make a significant difference. Additionally, I would model ethical behavior consistently. Employees often take cues from their direct managers, so it's crucial to lead by example. This idea aligns with what we explored in a week 11, where we learned how manager actions can set the tone for team behavior. For example, if I prioritize fairness in decision making, like ensuring performance evaluations are unbiased, my team is more likely to follow suit. Finally, I would recognize and reward ethical behavior. The article highlights the importance of rewarding employees who demonstrate integrity. For example, a simple acknowledgement of an employee who chooses an ethical course of action, even in a challenging situation, can reinforce the importance of ethics within a team. Practicality versus theory. The article provides practical insights that are highly applicable to management. Strategies like clarity, transparency, and recognition are cost effective and don't require extensive resources to implement. These ideas are elastic and can be adopted even if leadership isn't fully committed to fostering on ethical culture. However, the article does have limitations. Without support from top leadership managers may face challenges in implementing systematic challenges. For instance, creating an anonymous reporting system might require organizational level approval, but managers can still encourage transparency within their own team by fostering an open door policy. The insights from the article also help address real world challenges. For example, we have seen in week 6 during discussion and ethical dilemmas that managers are often the first point of contact for resolving conflicts. Having a framework like the cooperative ethical virtues, that is CEV models, gives managers a practical way to guide their teams through such dilemmas. IS leadership support necessary. While having leadership's full cooperation would enhance the implementation of these ideas, it isn't strictly necessary for managers to make an impact. Many of the strategies outlined in the article, such as clarity in communication and recognition of ethical behavior, can be implemented at the team level without requiring organization wide changes. For example, even if the organization lacks a robust ethical policy, managers can still create a culture of accountability within their teams by being consistent and fair in their decisions. This bottom-up approach to fostering ethics ensures that teams function with integrity even in less supportive organizational environments. Conclusion in conclusion, I would like to say this article is an excellent resource for managers seeking to foster an ethical culture. It provides actionable insights to clarity, transparency, and ethical modeling that are both practical and cost effective. While organizational leadership support is beneficial, managers can still make a meaningful impact by applying these principles at the team level. As managers, we are the ones who bring leadership's vision to life, and by prioritizing ethics, we can create a positive and trustworthy environment for our teams. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, my name is Deepika, and in this video, I will discuss how, as a worker or a staff member in my company, I might implement the idea and conclusion from the article role of ethical culture and moral identity. While leadership and management play crucial role in shaping and ethical culture, workers are equally important, and their actions matter in bringing those principles to life. This article provides insights into how ethical culture and moral identity reduce unethical behavior in an organization. These ideas are directly applicable to employees like me because we often face ethical dilemmas in decision making in our daily tasks, whether it's about meeting are deadlines or collaborating with colleagues or handling any sensitive information related to my workplace. Let's Let me explain how these ideas will help us become more ethical employees and address real world challenges. The first will be how I will implement these ideas in my daily life or whether I can or not. The fo- the things I can do as an employee is to understand and follow my company's or my organization ethical guidelines where I'm working. The The article emphasizes that clarity of expectations is critical for reducing unethical behavior. If my workplace has a code of ethics or specific policies, I would make sure to review and follow them carefully. And then I would focus on fostering transparency in my work and communication. The article also highlights discussability as a key component of ethical culture, and I can contribute by being open about challenges I face in my workplace. For example, if I encounter a situation where a task compromises quality, so I would bring that topic to my supervisor or my colleague and find a solution together with them. This aligns with what we discussed in week 6 of our lectures in ethical and leadership, where we learned that raising concern is essential for resolving ethical dilemmas we face. Another way to implement these ideas is through collaborating with colleagues. In week second and third of our ethical leadership, we explored how personal responsibility extends to supporting other in maintaining ethical practices. If a coworker is struggling with an ethical decision, I would offer guidance or encourage them to discuss it with the management. Last, I would lead by example. I would set an example by myself. I will follow all the ethical way and make sure I'm behaving ethically to set an example for my other staff members. Now, about the article, whether it is practically possible or it's just theoretical. The article idea are very practical for employees. For example, aren't sorry, practical for employees and aren't overly theoretical. Simple actions like following policy, being transparent and collaborating ethically can are things I can do regardless of organization size or resources. Doesn't matter what size of the organization is, whether it is a huge company, small company, or small store. These steps don't require extensive training or investment. They rely on awareness of an worker or an employee. Being that said, the article does have its limitations too. If the organization, leadership, or management does not actively support ethical behavior, it can make it harder for employees to implement these ideas. However, even without full cooperation, there's still value in acting ethically. For example, I can ensure that my individual work reflect integrity even if broader organizational changes are slow to happen. The article also addresses real world challenges like how unclear expectations can lead to unethical decision. By promoting clarity and discussability even at the team level, employee can make significant contribution to resolving such issues. Is leadership support necessary? When I discussed in limitations, where it said like leadership support is necessary for ethical behavior in an organization, Now let's discuss it deeply. While leadership support enhance the implementation of these ideas, it's not absolutely necessary for employees to make a difference. Worker can still create a positive impact within their teams by fostering transparency and supporting each other. However, leadership absence does pose challenges, especially when ethical behavior conflicts with performance demands. In such cases, employers need to rely on their own moral compass and the support of their peers to navigate difficult situations. At the end, now I will conclude what I discussed. The article Role of Ethical Culture and Moral Identity provides valuable insights for employee on how to contribute to a strong ethical culture by understanding guidelines, promoting transparency, collaborating ethically, and leading by example. We can help create a workplace that values integrity and trust. If I have to give where I learned it from, I learned it in week 1 of ethical and leadership, where we learn ethics that starts with individual responsibility. Even without full organization support, employees can still make meaningful contribution for to fostering an ethical environment. And thank you so much for listening to me. And I would quote this: let's contribute to build workplace where doing the right thing is the norm. Thank you so much.